This year's NHL rookie class has been nothing short of phenomenal so far, headlined by the likes of Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, and Luke Hughes, the big names, the guys that get a lot of the media attention. But in my opinion, what makes this year's rookie class so great is how deep it is. There is so many rookies that have had massive impacts on their teams, and a lot of guys that I don't really think are getting enough attention. So for today's video, I made up a list of players who are, in my opinion, some of the most underrated rookies in the NHL this season. This is just my opinion. If I didn't include your favorite player or your favorite team's best rookie, that doesn't mean I don't think they're good. Just let me know down below in the comments what your guys' list of the most underrated rookies in the NHL this season would look like. If you guys enjoyed this video, before you click off, please remember to leave a like. It definitely helps out a ton. And lastly, if this is your first time checking out the channel and you want NHL content just like this all year round, hit that subscribe button. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and start the video off with Brock Faber, 21-year-old defenseman for the Minnesota Wild. He was a second-round draft pick by the Los Angeles Kings back in 2020, came over to the Minnesota Wild in the Kevin Fiala trade. I remember when that trade happened, I wasn't a huge fan of the return the Minnesota Wild got. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I wasn't really all that familiar with Brock Faber's game at the time of the trade, but man, looking back at that deal now, could go down as one of the bigger win-win trades in recent memory, as Kevin Fiala has continued to produce like a legit top-line forward for the Los Angeles Kings, and I know it's still very early, but it's looking like the Minnesota Wild may have a franchise defenseman on their hands in Brock Faber. Through Brock Faber's first 30 games of the season, he's got just the one goal, 13 assists for 14 points. All but one of those points have came at even strength. Those 13 even strength points are more than any other rookie defenseman in the NHL this season. His plus 11 leads all rookies, and he's been averaging just under 24.5 minutes of ice time per game, which leads all rookies by a significant amount. The Minnesota Wild have been relying on Brock Faber heavily this season, and he has stepped up in a big way, especially in the absence of their captain Jared Spurgeon. And while yes, the Minnesota Wild have been playing better as of late, they've won 7 of their last 10 games, overall they haven't had a great season. But just imagine how much worse it would look if they didn't have Brock Faber holding down the blue line like he has. Really just cannot say enough good things about Brock Faber and his rookie season so far. Just plays so well in every aspect of the game, and if the season ended today, I think he's a guy that would have a legit shot at winning the Calder Trophy over somebody like Connor Bedard. Moving along now to the next player on my list, we have Dimitri Rotonov of the Columbus Blue Jackets, a 23-year-old winger who was a 4th-round draft pick by the Jackets, 114th overall back in 2019. At this point, I think it's safe to say that Columbus has already gotten pretty fantastic value out of that draft pick. The Columbus Blue Jackets are one of those teams that aren't really going to get a whole lot of attention from the national media. They also have Adam Fantilli, who is going to be the guy that people talk about when they talk about the Blue Jackets. So Dimitri Rotonov has really flown under the radar and has quietly had a fantastic rookie season so far through 27 games. He's up to 6 goals and 16 total points. All of his goals have came at even strength. All but one of his assists have came at even strength. And he's putting up these kinds of numbers while only playing around 13 minutes per game for Columbus. He actually leads all rookies this season in even strength points per 60 minutes. He has been incredibly efficient, making the absolute most out of his ice time. Voronov is an absolute beast as well. At 6'5", he's already kind of made a name for himself as somebody who does a lot of his damage at the net front, and you would hope that if Voronov continues to play this well for Columbus and continues to produce this much in a very limited role, that his role is going to increase. Next up on my list, we have Tyson Forester, 21-year-old winger for the Philadelphia Flyers. He was a 1st-round selection by Philadelphia, 23rd overall in 2020. The Philadelphia Flyers have gotten some fantastic production from rookies this season, and it's not just Tyson Forester. Bobby Brink has produced at a really efficient rate for them. Samuel Ersson has given them real solid goaltending, but Tyson Forester is somebody who I wanted to highlight specifically because I've been really impressed with his game. Just 12 points in 30 games for a winger that's getting top 6 minutes. That doesn't really jump out at you. It's his play away from the puck and his play in the defensive zone that has been most impressive. This dude is a defensive specialist, and he's sort of taken on the role this season that Noah Cates played for the Philadelphia Flyers last season. A guy who slots in the top 6, is a defensive specialist, but is still capable of producing respectable numbers. The kind of player that John Tortorella absolutely drools over. It did not take long at all for Tyson Forester to earn his trust. We all know that playing under John Tortorella especially, you have to earn every single minute, and Tyson Forester definitely has. He's been a big factor in the Philadelphia Flyers team defense, which has been fantastic this season and has really become the identity of that team. The Flyers Flyers have found a formula that works, and they are executing it to perfection. They are buzzing as of late. They've won 7 of their last 10, and the way the Philadelphia Flyers are playing right now, the system that they have implemented, it only works if everybody is bought in, and it definitely looks like everybody has. Moving along now to the next player on my list, we have Connor Zary of the Calgary Flames, their first round draft pick, 24th overall from the 2020 draft. Zary actually did not even make the Calgary Flames opening night roster this season. He started down in the American Hockey League, absolutely dominated through 6 games down there, was called up, and has not looked back. Through 22 games, Connor Zary is up to 7 goals and 16 total points. He actually leads the entire Calgary Flames roster in points per game, and he's another guy who, like Dimitri Rotonov, who we talked about earlier in this video, is doing pretty much all of his damage at even strength. He's second among rookies in even strength points per 60 minutes, only behind Dimitri Rotonov. Zary has just 2 power play points on the season, both of which came as assists. All 7 of his goals have came at even strength. He's shooting almost 30% on the season, which of course you expect that to come down, but the early returns of Connor Zary at the NHL level have been fantastic for the Calgary Flames. And it's not just the offense he's producing either. His play away from the puck has been arguably more impressive than his offensive production. The dude has been a beast of a two-way forward for Calgary, and since being called up from the American Hockey League, I think you can make the argument that Connor Zary has been the Calgary Flames' most impactful and most consistent forward in terms of a complete game. Next up on my list, we have Pavel Mikov, defenseman for the Anaheim Ducks, their 10th overall selection from the 2022 NHL draft. It's obviously still quite early in the season and very early in Pavel Mikov's NHL career. Some people may think this is an overreaction. I don't. I'm going to say it anyways. I think Pavel Mikov is already very clearly the best defenseman on the Anaheim Ducks, and I don't even really think it's close. Through 31 games, Pavel Mikov has been an absolute beast on the Anaheim Ducks blue line. He's already up to 17 points. His defensive analytics are great on an Anaheim team that is not good defensively for the most part. Really, the only knock against Pavel Mikov in terms of his case for the Calder Trophy, stacking him up against somebody like Brock Faber, for example, is the fact that Pavel Mikov, for the most part this season, has played third pairing minutes at even strength. The Anaheim Ducks have been playing it very safe this season with their top prospects. They're not overusing Pavel Mikov. They're putting him in positions to succeed, and I mean, the results speak for themselves. He is knocking it out of the park every chance he gets. Ducks fans have to be absolutely drooling thinking about how good this blue line could look 3-4 years from now, led by guys like Pavel Mikov, Jamie Drysdale, and Olen Zellweger. So that is going to wrap up today's video. Those were, in my opinion, 5 of the most underrated rookies in the NHL so far this season. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, this was just my opinion. As always, I want to know what you guys are thinking, so let me know what your list would look like down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button. It helps out the video a ton. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want NHL content just like this all year round, hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all again soon.